Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the third episode of the Game Managers Podcast. I'm Nick. I'm here with my friends Aaron and Justin, and we're here to break down. That's okay. You can interrupt me, Justin.
I mean, I thought you were going to give me. I thought you were going to give me time to say how's it going, but apparently not.
That would have been nice of me and more professional, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would have been. We are your co-hosts.
I just knew you wouldn't be that nice, so I didn't say
anything. Great. I'm glad we wasted 35 seconds on that. This is the third episode breaking down Week 4 of Alabama and Auburn, their games, along with the rest of the SEC and the college football landscape. And we're going to start off with just a little bit of a rehash of what all we saw today. So when you think of all the games we saw today, Justin, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Well, I mean, this isn't, an SEC team, but Notre Dame proves they're the same old team. They don't win the big games.
Interesting.
Yeah, they came up short today. They put up much more of a fight than I thought they were going to.
Yeah, that was going to be my argument on it. Usually they don't only win the big games, they get blown out in the big games. So. Well,
but still, I mean, they had their chances this game.
Yeah, they don't finish, but
a loss is a loss. So.
I did think they performed much better. They're much more relevant this year than they have been in previous years.
Because they finally have a good quarterback.
We're going to get into that more a little bit in a minute, but when I think of today, I think about the Fighting Harbaughs at Michigan going down today in embarrassing
That was embarrassing,
fashion.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, an absolute beatdown. Just a
Even Shea Patterson got benched because he was so bad.
And the only reason he got put back out there against Wisconsin was because McCaffrey got injured.
Yeah.
Yep. So. I think about Jonathan Taylor running for over 100 yards in the first quarter.
Yeah, and you probably
finishing with over 200, and he didn't play for half.
The most ever Wisconsin running back has gotten in a game against Michigan.
Mm-hmm. That's a top.
You probably also think about the.
If he was healthy the whole game, he would have gotten close to breaking the most rushing yards in a game.
Yeah, he had to leave a little bit for cramps. They also probably think about UCF, America's team.
Oh, that might be the best part of the day.
Going down to Pitt.
Pitt was America's team this week.
I told you Pitt would come to play, and sure enough.
You did. You actually called both Utah and
I did, so it was a
UCF losing this week.
It was a pretty good week. I was hoping Notre Dame would pull it out tonight, but it was a pretty good week.
2 for 3 is pretty good. So.
Yeah.
But we're just going to get right into it then. So we're going to start out with a little bit of Twitter news with Aaron Patterson.
Oh, yeah. So.
Get closer to the mic a little bit.
Okay. So, I guess I'll keep it football related to begin with.
Okay.
And we're going to go with one of my favorite tweets. And it says, UFC will not hold their own parade at Disney World this year.
Breaking news.
And I'm so excited for that. It was quite a joy to see them lose to Pitt today.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be making any wild championship claims this year.
No, and honestly, I could see. Well, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I honestly see them losing at Cincinnati too in a couple of weeks, especially after today.
Yeah, they did not look good today, so that could very well happen.
My second favorite tweet of the day was, I don't know if it was my second favorite, but another good one was it's talking about Sanford Stadium, Georgia Stadium, being sold out, the largest crowd in Georgia Stadium, and it was retweeted and said the largest gathering of people who haven't seen a national championship since the 1980s. And that is pretty good.
And it's accurate, too.
Yeah.
So,
that was a big oof.
And one of those teams will definitely not see it this year because Notre Dame is out of the playoffs as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, there's no way they make it. No.
Yeah. I don't think they fight their way back in.
No,
this was their best opportunity.
Especially without a conference championship, there's no way to...
That's exactly what I was about to say. That is already just doesn't sit well with the committee, and it's going to hurt them this year.
Even with Michigan on the schedule, now that's looking like that's not even going to be a good win if they beat them the way Michigan has looked.
not nearly as good as it could have been. So still, could be a very tough game. But,
yeah, it could.
They're out of the picture, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. All right. As an Alabama fan, this hurts a little bit, but it's a good tweet nonetheless.
Oh.
So this one was from Reddit College Football on Twitter, and it says...
Great account.
It says, it's just hard to tell how good Clemson really is when they schedule cupcakes they can beat by 4+ scores, like Charlotte and Alabama. So, it's a good tweet.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Charlotte today put up about as much of a fight as Alabama.
Oof. And then, this is 100% my favorite tweet of the day. From Arizona Athletics.
This was incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Justin, did you see this?
I did not.
Oh, my God.
It reads, "This is a weird tweet to type, but the petting zoo scheduled for Arizona soccer tonight just called. The goats and sheep escaped at a previous event and are currently being chased through the streets of Tucson. The zoo is still happening, ? Maybe postponed a bit, ... This is all we know."
So that's the actual Arizona Athletics
That's at 6:40 p.m.
account. They tweeted that out.
At 7:55 p.m., Arizona Athletics update: the goats have been found.
What in the world?
Still unsure how that was relevant or how.
Those tweets
why.
got more of a response than anything Arizona has ever posted on
This is
Twitter.
putting them on the map.
Thank you for a beautiful segment today, Aaron.
Yes, that
That's
was
some
great.
Good tweets. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the boring game of the day again. Alabama beating up on Southern Miss, 49-7.
No surprises.
Tua Tagovailoa, 17 for 21, had was it more touchdowns than incompletions, or was it
I believe
close?
today it was.
So
More
he had 5
touchdowns.
touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he
Tied
had
his career
one more
high
touchdown
again.
that he had incompletions.
Yeah.
17 for 21, 293 yards. And he didn't play for
He was taking out third quarter. I
yeah,
think
Yeah.
late third quarter.
yeah,
He at least played the
mid to
third
late
quarter.
third quarter.
Yeah.
So pretty good stats to put up today.
Najee Harris, 14 carries on 110 yards, and Henry Ruggs with 4 receptions and 148 yards and 2 touchdowns. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, they tore it up. So Tua, I found this stat. He has almost as many touchdown passes as he does incompletions. 17 touchdown passes this season, and just 25 incompletions. And before the Notre Dame game, he had more passing touchdowns than both Boise State and Notre Dame combined.
Which are both
It's crazy.
2 undefeated teams going into today.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just bad teams.
Yeah, and Boise State still undefeated, beating on Air Force Friday.
Yep.
You had Najee with 14 carries and 110 yards, and Henry Ruggs with 4 receptions on 148 yards and 2 touchdowns. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I just don't know how you guard Ruggs.
Yeah, so not much to say there except that Alabama did take care of business today. They looked a little more solid all around the ball. Of course, easier opponent than last week, but they're not going to have a tough test next week.
No, not with Ole Miss. It might as well be another Southern Miss 2.0.
Yeah, and that's basically what it is. So, yeah, but that's okay. We're going to go on. We're going to go through some of these other games before we get to Auburn, which we'll talk about the most. But we'll just skip through a few of these. We'll start out with Notre Dame and Georgia. Georgia pulling it out there at Sanford Stadium, 23-17. Mostly due to Ian Brook not being able to get it done and the rushing game to be obsolete.
Yeah, Notre Dame has no rushing game. It was so hard to watch, and I mean that's another reason you can put into Notre Dame losing, because you throw it all on Ian Book to win the game, and as you can see, he couldn't get it done.
Yeah, just really one-dimensional here. Ian Brook, he went 29 for 47. He had 275 yards and 2 touchdowns, but he had 2 interceptions that really killed them. And Jones Jr., their leading rusher, had 21 yards.
On 9 carries.
Yeah.
Yeah, 9 carries, 21 yards. So his longest was 6. So they were just so one-dimensional. And the fact that they stayed in that game as much as they did was really, I guess, a testament to the defense that
Really. Yeah, they came out physical and ready to play. But, I mean,
they did.
After Notre Dame came out in the second half and 3 and out, they just wore down the defense, and that lost them the game.
Yeah. Me and Aaron talked a little bit about this during the game. We are here together. Justin usually joins us from Alabaster like he is now. But we talked about, was this Notre Dame staying in this game more of a testament to Notre Dame being better than we thought they were, or Georgia being worse than we thought they were? And we came to the conclusion it's a little bit of both. I'm going to say, we did say more so Notre Dame being better than we thought they were, but when looking back at how one-dimensional this offense is,
yeah, I mean, really, you got to think about.
A little bit on Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia didn't really capitalize on the opportunities that they had.
Yeah, Georgia should have run away with this game plenty of times.
Yeah, it felt that way.
And if you look back at the 2 fourth downs that Brian Kelly should have kicked a field goal, but instead he decided to go for it. He makes both of those, and it's a tied game.
Yeah, I mean, then you just got to think about maybe if he gets a good snap on that first fourth attempt try, maybe they get it. But
maybe.
Yeah, I mean, those are risky calls, and I think he felt.
I just don't understand that play call. Being on the road,
Yeah.
you get to put points on the board first at number 3. I just don't understand why you don't take the points.
I guess he thought this was his best bet because he knew. I think he knew, if they lose this game, there's no way they're making the playoffs. So he just kind of threw it all out there.
Yeah, they're definitely out of the playoff picture, in my opinion. So, yeah.
I agree with that.
Without a conference championship, I don't see there being a way for them to come back.
The committee seems to really value conference championships, and with the L already on their record and maybe another one coming when they meet Michigan, I don't see them getting in regardless, even if they blew Michigan out of the water, especially after today.
They will need a lot of help. Let's just say that.
A lot of help.
So let's just keep going through the list here. LSU took care of business against Vandy. So Joe Burrow doing his thing again today.
66 touchdowns
to 38. Yeah, 6 touchdowns. I think it was 5 of those coming in the first half.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a new LSU team.
It really is.
If you would have told me that Vandy would have put 38 up, then last year, then I'd say there's no way that LSU wins. But when you put up 66, it's hard to beat.
Yeah, 5 touchdown passes in the first half alone. 4 of those coming in the first quarter. So by the second quarter, they were already up so big. They were taking it pretty easy.
Probably those 38 points, too. I mean, those are just trash points because LSU was up so big. So you have backups coming in.
They were up big, but I still think that says something about the defense not finishing today.
Yeah.
Because at one point, this game was 28-7. Well, at one point, it was 28-10.
And I believe Vandy
got to 38.
Back.
Yeah, it was like 38-10 at one point, I think, and then.
Yeah, Vandy actually jumped out in the lead in the first quarter.
7-0.
Didn't do much after that, but it did seem to let this 0-3 Vandy team put up 38 on an LSU defense was a little unsettling.
Yeah, they eventually finished, obviously, but they just let them hang a little longer than they should have.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when Joe Burrow came out in the preseason saying this is going to be an LSU team that's going to be scoring 50 points. We're going to be the best offense in the country. I still can't believe it's happening right now. I would have never thought an LSU team would score 66 points against an SEC team.
No, me neither.
Yeah, I imagine it was pretty hard for people to see Tua sling it last year where didn't even have to play the starters in the second half and beat everybody by 40.
So moving on, we got Florida taking care of business over Tennessee. Jeremy Pruitt, things are not getting better for him as the Gators beat the Vols 34-3 today.
A lot of people had this as an upset, and
oh gosh, I can't believe
never
why.
understood that. I never really heard good reasoning why, but
I don't either.
I'm glad I wasn't influenced.
With Felipe Franks out, this looks like a better Florida offense. I mean, the dude they have in
it really does.
The dude they have in there now, he had a great day.
Yeah. Trask was in there. He went 20 for 28, 293 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, but those were obviously forgivable as Tennessee only put up 3 on the board. That may go different with a better team, but, he's working the kinks out. He didn't think he'd be here last week, so.
No. Didn't they say it was like his first start since freshman year of high school?
Yeah.
Something crazy like that.
It was his first start since high school.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. So, Tennessee, though, not looking very good. Guantanamo. How do you say his name? Guarantano.
It's,
yeah.
I thought it was Garantino or something like that.
It may be. It doesn't matter because
I believe
people
it
are not
was-
going to be talking about this guy. QBR of 9.9. 2 picks, 0 touchdowns. He went 10 for 17, but yeah, they put Maher in there too. 4 for 11, 44 yards, and then interception himself. So just ugly performance, and I don't know how you fix it. You can't. I don't think that the right solution is to fire Pruitt because you're just ruining another recruiting class and starting over.
Yeah.
And who are you going to get?
Well, I mean, the problem
Nobody
is
wants this job.
Tennessee's not going to win another game this year.
I think they get one more, and I think
They're not
going to
They're not beating UAB.
No, they're not beating UAB.
Not
But I
after
think
today.
they get one more.
UAB surprised me today with a win over South Alabama.
They whipped them.
Yeah.
I would go as far to say that's kind of a rivalry between the two lower.
Yeah, and I think this was
lower-class
actually
teams
the
in
first time
Alabama.
they met.
Is it?
I believe so because they were trying to figure out a name for what to call this
Because it's
meeting.
It'd be so obvious that it would become a big rivalry.
Yeah.
But they took care of business. I thought it would be a pretty good game, but I believe it was 38-3 or 35-3.
Yes, I think it might have been 35-3. It got
35-3.
got kind of out of hand. So good for UAB. I hope they keep on going, and maybe South Alabama will get something together one day. But don't hold your breath.
Yeah, they almost had something when they almost beat Nebraska to knock them off. That would have been funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They didn't
but
quite come through though.
yeah, Nebraska's not really a good team, so.
Not well. They did. Who did they beat earlier today? Illinois. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, Illinois.
Did they pull that game out?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, and they were losing majority of that game.
Yeah, they did pull it out. So I believe they went to 3-1 with their only loss to Colorado, I believe.
Yep.
Well, let's keep this moving here. So next up, we've got California pulling it out over Ole Miss, 28-20.
This was a crazy ending.
Yes, it was. And one that I was a little upset about because I had Ole Miss picked for our SEC pool.
I did too.
I did too, only because it was an 11 o'clock game. It's early for those California boys, and it's, I heard they were practicing indoors most of the week.
They were.
And I don't understand that. I thought
they just
this
got a new
early game, the heat, it's going to get to them.
It was hot out there.
And that's the only reason I decided to go with Ole Miss. But I did think it would be a good game, and that ending, yeah. That was shocking.
I mean, I thought he got in on that touchdown pass.
I thought he did too.
And there was no.
The first look, I didn't think he did, but the more they've replayed it, when he tucked the football, I thought he landed over the
did
plane.
too.
And how they didn't review that blows my mind.
Well,
but
the problem is Ole Miss had to run up to the ball so fast. Is that
yeah,
and
but they should.
I know.
They should have immediately stopped play. They're supposed to look at every
they're supposed to
scoring
touchdown.
play.
Well, the
So
problem is
they
it wasn't a
should've-
scoring play on the field, so they can't review it just yet. They marked him
that
short
was,
on the field.
That was Pac-12 officials, which did not have a good weekend.
No, the Utah USC game. Oh my gosh!
27 penalties, I believe, was in the Utah USC game, and it was every time I looked up at the TV, there was a flag thrown. It was just atrocious.
That might have been the worst officiating crew I've ever seen.
Yeah, I actually I put out a tweet on Twitter saying that I wish that these stations would list the refs' names along with their Twitter handles and every time a flag is thrown, so people would just bless them out. That makes some good content.
Yeah, I feel like they would run through officials a little more often if that was the case.
Yeah, so not too much to say about that one except Ole Miss is not a good team again.
No.
Let's keep on moving through these. Next up, we've got
Auburn and Texas A&M.
Let's come back to that one because that's going to be the one we talk about.
Yeah, don't give
most.
me. I'm excited about that one.
Kentucky, Mississippi State's down the list.
Okay, let's do that one. So Kentucky, Mississippi State. You had Kentucky in this SEC pool.
I did.
Terrible
I don't
decision.
know why, to be honest. Mainly because Mississippi State was at home. They're both coming off a pretty bad loss, so I should have went with Mississippi State. I guess I didn't look into it enough. Especially with Kylan Hill. He's a great running back for Mississippi State, and I saw that the week before and wrote that down and still didn't pay much attention like I should have.
Yeah, Hill had 26 carries, 120 yards. Only behind Schrader, the quarterback, with 11 carries on 125 yards. A lot of those coming from a 49-yard run.
And Kentucky still, I believe they missed 2 field goals, and I believe they went into the red zone and turned it over. So it was still a close game all the way to the end, and then Mississippi State scored one more time with, I believe, under a minute left and put it away.
Yeah, Kentucky was 2 for 4 on the field goals as a team. 2 misses of those coming from Poor. I don't know his first name, and I don't care enough to click on it. Chance Poor. There you go. So.
Poor Chance is what it should be. You missed 2. Like, that's, I don't know. It's rough.
Yeah,
that kills you every time.
I believe he did last week, too, against Florida. So
6 points isn't going to win them the game, but it could have turned around some momentum.
Did they not have a turnover in their red zone?
I believe so. Smith definitely had an interception. I don't know that it came in the red zone.
Okay.
But Schrader went 17 for 22, 180 yards passing. No touchdowns and an interception. But good win for Mississippi State. They needed to bounce back. So
I'm worried about them next week. You know, you never know what you're going to get from State. They'll probably come out scrappy starting off against Auburn. So we'll see.
They usually play them hard. So we'll see. After this is one that doesn't need talked about much either. Missouri taking care of business over South Carolina, 34-14. I had South Carolina picked.
I had South Carolina picked only because
terrible, man. What are y'all doing?
Hey, can you give me a second? The only reason I had them picked is just for the points.
Yeah. So I've said this before on the show, but if you're a 10-point or more underdog, it's worth 3 points if they win.
But they were only 9.5-point favorites, though.
Yeah, but we round up.
Oh,
if that's okay with you.
Yeah. So if it's 9.5, we go to 10.
Well, it didn't help you, so.
It did not help us because they got thumped today.
Yeah.
They
got thumped. Well, how about we talk about this, though?
They missed a field goal, so they were only down by 3, and then I believe they were on their 9, and then he throws a 99-yard pick 6.
Yeah. It was 100 yards. It was 100
yards?
He got it in the end zone.
So, after that, and it was not even close. I don't know who he was throwing it to.
I don't know either.
It was just, he threw it right to him, 100 yards, and after that, that's when they started getting thumped. They said, forget this.
Did y'all see the crazy play where South Carolina had the ball and it was close to their own end zone? And so he throws it. It gets batted up in the air. He catches it and throws it down, and Missouri picks it up and scores it for a touchdown. I've never seen something like that.
On the upper TV, so it was muted, and I couldn't hear what they were saying.
We've got 5 TVs up on the wall here.
But from what I understand, when he batted the ball, from what I understand, he threw it, the ball got batted, And when they counted that as a catch.
But see, that didn't look like a catch.
It was not a catch, in my opinion.
It was not.
He didn't take a step, and he didn't hold it for longer than 2 seconds. He grabbed it on the sides and threw it down. Like, it was a smart play, in my opinion. And
I didn't agree with that call.
I don't know how they got a completion from that, but yeah, because at the beginning that was their first drive, I believe, because trying to think who we were talking about.
South Carolina.
South Carolina and who?
Missouri.
Missouri. So Missouri drives down on the first drive, and they get to the 1, I think, on 4th and goal, and they hold them, and I believe that was a second play after that. So that was South Carolina's first drive, and that happens after the defense holds them, and then they give the score to them anyways. And then South Carolina still stays in there, and I guess after that interception, they had enough of stuff not going their way.
Yeah.
Then they rolled over and got thumped.
I know when you watch as much football on any given Saturday as we do that you're going to see some bad calls. But this weekend felt like there was a lot more.
That was a terrible call.
Yeah. But moving on, we had San Jose State getting the upset over Arkansas.
Who's a worse team, Arkansas or Tennessee? That's a good question.
You know, I would have said Tennessee before this week, but
I don't know.
I didn't watch much of this game because I figured they would take care of business. But boy, was I wrong. They didn't even come close. Well, they did at the end, but for the first half, they were getting thumped.
Yeah, they were.
And every time I looked up at the TV, it was like another highlight for a San Jose State player. They were just more physical, just big hit after big hit. It was not just a points game. They absolutely manhandled them on the front line.
They came to play, and Arkansas did not.
No,
Arkansas wasn't ready. They felt like they lost this game when they showed up. It just, I don't know. This
is like a new thing for Arkansas. Now, they lost that game to Colorado State last year?
North Texas last year on that fake punt.
And then now they lose to this.
Fake fair catch. That's what I'm trying to say.
And now they lose to San Jose State. It's not going well for Arkansas or Tennessee.
No. So, their quarterback had 5 interceptions. Is that Starkel? Mm-hmm. Nick Starkel. Yeah. So, 5 interceptions in the game. Mm-hmm. And you throw 5 interceptions in the game, and you're not going to win that game.
You shouldn't.
No.
Yeah. So, just so embarrassing game. It's
embarrassing for the SEC
pool picked San Jose State, and they got 3 points out of it. But
that was because they were dead last. Which now I'm so.
Yeah, now me and you are tied with a few others for last, but we can come on back.
Arguably the people who know the most about football, or at least what's going on.
Us 3 keep in touch with it more than anybody else in that group, and none of us are doing well.
Even if y'all don't,
we
know what we're talking about, we at least try and keep up. Nobody else in this pool does.
Yeah.
And
give me benefit of the doubt, though.
All dead last.
This was only my second week. Y'all started before me, so I came in late.
Yeah, you came in 2 weeks late.
Yeah, so.
So you're dead last, but
I can't help that.
You can't help that, yeah. So, but before we get into Auburn and the Texas A&M game, Justin, would you like to do your famous segment, Knight Needs to Know?
Knight Needs to Know. Okay.
We need to get theme songs for all our segments.
Yeah, we need to.
Now, next week,
I think we should make our own.
That's true. We should just come up with our own songs. So.
Okay, next week, all of y'all have to record yourself singing.
I don't know why I said this.
And you have to send it to me. I'll plug it in starting next week.
Now this is looking like a bad idea.
Yeah, I don't really know why I speak sometimes.
We got to do it. You have to write your own lyrics, and you have to sing it.
Oh, no.
All right. So, here's my first question for
Knight
Needs to Know. Here we go.
I think we should get a fan to write the lyrics.
Nobody's going to do that.
No, they're not.
All right, I got a little help for this one, but this is a good question.
Shoot that down so quick, though. I wanted you to shoot it down. I knew it was coming, but Man, that was
Man.
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Justin.
All right, question number 1. I got a little help for this one, but here it is. If Michigan fired Harbaugh, would you hire him?
So this is a good question that we talked about a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
And it's, it depends on what your program is. If you're Alabama, you're not going to hire him. But if you're Tennessee, yeah, you're going to take him.
I don't know.
if
I don't think a Power 5 team takes
if I'm Auburn and I'll get rid of Gus at the end of the year, let's say they throw away every game the rest of the season.
I don't want him.
I don't think he does.
No, I do not take Harbaugh.
I don't think a Power 5 team that wants to compete will take a chance on him.
The dude is just a weirdo.
All of his
Weirdo.
all of his little ticks and stuff that he does that is weird. It's cute when you're winning, and when you're losing, you look like a jerk, to put it nicely. So, you look crazy. That's what you are, and
Yeah.
he looks crazy right now. Little stat on Harbaugh that Aaron has here for us.
So he is 8-11 versus ranked opponents.
Not
He is
good.
1-3 in bowl games. He is 1-9 versus top 10 ranked teams, and 0-4 versus Ohio State.
And I don't see
Yikes.
how they get that win over Ohio State this year.
There's no way.
I don't see it. And this was
I don't
the
think-
year I thought they would, and going into the season.
With
it's
Urban gone.
Yeah, with Urban gone, new quarterback, you would think this is a year he's going to get it done, and he has more than disappointed.
Yeah.
That's a good question, though. I'm going to say if you're a good program, that you're going to probably steer clear of this guy. I think that now Michigan, he's not bad enough to fire. Michigan's not going to fire him.
They're not.
But I could easily see him running home to the NFL.
I think if he was anywhere else in the country and he performed like this, I think at a program like that, I think he would be fired after this year. But
Yeah,
the fact that he is, he went to Michigan and they fought so hard to get him and all the drama that went into it, I think that's the only reason he buys himself another year.
Think back to when when Michigan fans were wanting to give him a lifelong contract.
That is laughable.
I wish they would have. That would have been hilarious.
That is laughable.
But the stat that sticks out most to me on that is 8-11 versus ranked opponents.
Yeah, that's not top 25.
Yeah.
That is
That's just
ranked
ranked.
opponents.
That's top
Yeah.
25. You're saying that's not top 10.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
top 25. That's not top 10.
Yeah.
Top 10, they're only 1-9.
Yeah. So
But 8-11 against ranked opponent, come on now. That's
that's not good. If you're wanting to compete at a playoff caliber level, you can't be giving away games like that. Those are the games that matter. So
yeah. The way that they've played the last few years underneath him it's still surprising
And-
that people give
and
them
the
as much credit as they do.
Yeah,
Starting
the fact they
season
get-
where they were.
Yeah,
I
the fact they
mean,
get this
I
much
agreed
hype.
with it, but if they keep performing like this, they're gonna lose that quickly.
well, what's our next question, Mr. Knight?
All right, question number 2. So at this point, we might as well say that Jeremy Pruitt and Chad Morris are going to be fired. It's just a matter of time. So if you're Tennessee and Arkansas, who are you hiring next?
Oh, goodness gracious. So, who am I hiring
That is a hard
next?
question because I think that changes on a that can change so quickly.
It could.
Well, let's see here. So if I'm Tennessee, I'm probably just staying in house. So I'm getting rid of him and I'm giving it back to Fulmer.
Wow, okay.
Because who else are you going to give it to? Nobody wants that job. Philip Fulmer wants the job. He's just buying his time until he kicks Pruitt out and takes back over because he feels like he was
Yeah.
let go too early anyways. And I'll probably just let him do it if I'm Tennessee. He's got a name, with him. It's probably better than any other coach you're gonna get.
That's a good question.
Now, if
I still don't think they should. I mean, how many years has Pruitt had? Just 2 or 3?
This is
this is
year.
his second year.
Yeah. See,
No, I think Chad Morris is going to be gone. It's just a matter of time.
I think that's a better chance of him getting gone than Pruitt this year. So I'm trying to think.
I tell you,
So if I'm Arkansas, I'm going to try to go with a guy that is young and fresh and is going to bring in recruits.
That's
So
what
I would get your Bill
Yeah.
Clark-esque guys.
that's what I was just
that's
thinking.
what I'm thinking. Like, you got to
Yeah.
go for a group of 5 team, a group of 5 coach that's a little younger and has a good reputation, good history, and give him a shot. I think that's all you can do, really. You just, that's what I would do. A young guy who's got a decent record and a good reputation, and just give him a shot at the big stage. See how he performs.
Yeah, why not? I mean, that maybe you try to scoop up Gus if he was to get fired.
Yeah.
Somebody like that. But I don't know that Gus would take the job at Arkansas because I think he could get hired somewhere else.
I don't know
Of
where
course.
else he would get. Like,
Yeah.
Where
They
where
love
else
him.
could Gus go where he would?
Arkansas
get a
loves
good
Gus.
enough- Yeah.
Arkansas does love Gus. I mean, it would be a great get for them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
it would.
Yeah.
It would for them, I think. I think it'd be probably the best hire they could make. That is given if Auburn fires them. Right now, they look like a team that could compete for the national championship, and if that's happening, he's not going to
He
be
ain't
fired.
going anywhere.
No.
Yeah, if he splits Alabama, Georgia, he's not going anywhere.
No,
So
he just buys
Nope.
an extra year. Every time he
Which
can do
he
that,
does
buys
that,
an extra
yeah.
year.
But if Auburn was to drop this week against Mississippi State, that seat gets hot quick.
I think if
Yeah, very
he
quick.
loses Auburn and Georgia and then another game, yeah, it gets hot.
What else you got for us, Justin?
All right, so let's see, through 4 games, if you had to pick one team from the West, from Auburn or LSU to upend Alabama, who would you go with so far to win the West?
If we had to pick one team in the West, based on what?
Out of just Auburn and LSU, those 2 teams.
To win the West? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Out of Auburn
To
or
upend.
LSU?
yeah.
I would probably go with
That's a hard one.
Auburn right now.
Really?
See, if I had to go with win the West, I think LSU's got a better chance of staying consistent enough to win the West.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if I would go beating Alabama, because when I think about, both of those matchups, LSU versus Alabama and Auburn versus Alabama, I think of Auburn's D-line versus Alabama's O-line, and that's not a good matchup for Bama.
Yeah.
Not the way that Auburn's D-line played today.
Oof, yeah. We'll talk about that.
And then when I look at Alabama LSU, I look at the DBs, but I think I would have to go the best shot at beating Alabama and winning the West. I would go with LSU. If I had to go with just the best shot at beating Alabama, I think Auburn has the better matchup there.
So right now, ESPN.com has LSU having a 71.9% chance of beating Auburn, and I think that is incredibly high.
That is, I'd say that's
Those-
pretty high for right now.
Yeah, it
This
is.
early in the season, the way they just beat Texas A&M, I think that's pretty high.
Yeah. Now I think we said last week that this is always a little wonky, but that is quite stunning to me because I think it would be more like a 55% chance. Maybe
I think it would
60.
be more 60-40 or maybe 62, something like that, but I don't see 70. I don't see it getting above that 65% at all.
Well, then let's jump into talking about
Because
Auburn.
that is a big difference. That 5%'s a big difference.
Yeah, it is.
Let's talk about the Auburn Texas A&M game today. So, Auburn looking good, taking care of business.
Yeah, I tell you what, because I just saw this stat, and Auburn had lost 8 straight games to ranked teams on the road. And just to think of how they came out jumping on the gun, and the way they came out against A&M, I mean, I got to give it to Gus coming out with the scripted plays, especially with the verse with Schwartz scoring on that touchdown. I mean, to start off the game, these plays were great.
Yeah.
And, oh, my gosh, the defense. Of course, I had my worries, about, is the D-line going to finally come through and be the D-line everybody's predicting them to be? Man, they had, let me just throw out some stats here. So their leading rusher was Kellen Mond with 26 yards. I mean, the D-line
And that was on 9
managed
carries.
the whole game. Yeah, that was 9 carries. They had no rushing game. And so Mond had to throw it 49 times. And that's, the reason Auburn was able to win this game. And the only reason it was close was because he had those trash points towards the end.
Yeah,
And-
so a stat that I found that was pretty interesting. This is the first time since 1974 Auburn has 2 wins over ranked teams in its first 4 games of the season.
Ooh, yeah.
So 1974, that was against number 14 Tennessee, number 16 Miami, Florida, and then this year, obviously, Oregon and Texas A&M.
I mean, I
definitely
still-
think Auburn looked much better, but I was
Oh,
very
they did.
surprised at how bad Texas A&M looks.
Oh, my gosh. They
I was
and
very surprised.
they had 12, 13 penalties. They were so,
Yeah, that
it looked
rushing,
rough for them.
That's pretty surprising. And then they just continued to shoot themselves in the foot and couldn't get anything going.
I think the game plan was Auburn's defensive plan was we're going to stop the run. We're going to let Kellen Mond beat us. I mean, he had a good stat line, but as you can see, that worked.
Well,
Yeah.
I remember saying in their opening game against Texas State, I believe it was you was going somewhere, and so I was just texting you
Yeah,
about
you were
it.
texting me and telling me, like,
And I said-
Texas A&M doesn't look real good. I was like, what?
I remember saying, I'm not impressed with this Texas A&M
Yeah.
team at all. And I think that $75 million guaranteed is a lot of money to be sitting at 2-2 right now, to be paying
Yeah,
Jimbo Fisher.
It is, yeah. I mean, you got to think about Jimbo Fisher and just all this hype that was coming in with him, and he really hasn't done anything with Kellen Mond. You expected a lot of improvement from him from last year.
See, I thought he
And-
was improving a lot until this game, and then this game
Yeah.
is like, what happened? Like he just went backwards.
He got exposed. He did. And if you just look at it on paper, you don't see that. 31 for 49 with 335 yards and 2 touchdowns.
That all came when they were down 28-10 in the fourth quarter,
Yes.
and they
and
just started throwing it.
Right. And it just, I don't know, he just wasn't impressive. He couldn't really get anything going when it mattered. And the defense just had a hard time
Man.
stopping them. Auburn came out there in the first drive and scored quickly. And
Yeah,
that set the tone of the game, and the tone never changed.
I mean, not much from Bo Nix today that you can say. I mean, he was 12 of 20, 100 yards, 1 touchdown. His QBR was only 40.
Yeah, everybody was talking
But-
about like how he just had such a great game, and I did think he looked
Yeah.
a lot better. I think
He
He
did.
didn't necessarily just wasn't like, incredible or anything. I just think he made a lot better decisions
Yeah,
for a true freshman quarterback.
I agree. I mean, I understand the overthrows that's happening. He's anxious. He's a true freshman. He'll get that down later on in the season. But I think Gus came out with great play calls. But the only thing that worries me is anytime Auburn gets a good lead, his play calling it goes up and then it just goes down when they get a lead.
Very conservative.
I don't understand.
Inconsistent.
Yeah, it is. I don't understand some of these play calls. I mean, when we started out running the reverses, A&M didn't see that coming, and then we still kept doing this. A&M knew it was coming every single time. I was like, we got to run something else, some powers. I mean, start throwing the ball down the field a little more. But
I know he's been doing it for 7 years and longer than that now, but
yeah,
you still see flashes of an old high school football coach.
You do. And it's something that, you thought he would have learned his lesson in the 2013 BCS National Championship against Florida State.
After they blew that big lead.
Blew a big lead playing too conservative. But it just seems like there wasn't any lessons learned. It's still very conservative play. With that said, I think this is his best team he's had.
I think I agree, just because of how this is the best defense Auburn's had, and I mean it's been a long time since they've had a defense like this.
Yeah, I think if Bo Nix continues to improve, that statement will become true. I don't know that I can say that right now, just because of his him being too young to really see how he's going to handle other big games. But I mean, he handled it quite well today. So
did well today, yeah.
I believe it could easily be a true statement.
Yeah, this D-line Auburn has put together is absolutely incredible. I mean, Derek Brown and Marlon Davidson, I mean, those are two. You could see top 10 picks going in the draft next year. I mean, and big cats coming off the edge. It's makes me hopeful for the rest of the season, especially when sometimes the offense isn't going to get it going. When you have a defense like this.
I've seen a lot of people a lot of Alabama fans on Twitter talking about, we're getting nervous for this Iron Bowl this year. So, always a little unlucky when Alabama is playing at Jordan-Hare. So,
yeah,
but see, I wouldn't worry.
Earlier, I think Alabama's a better team, talent-wise and all that, but it's just not a good matchup. Yeah. Being at Jordan-Hare with a banged-up offensive line, a weak offensive line, and against a defensive line in Auburn that's playing their ass off this year.
The thing you'll have an advantage going to y'all is just these wide receivers. I mean, our DBs, that's our weakness on the defense. I just, at this point, don't see some of our DBs covering your wide receivers. And, I mean, Mon had time in the pocket today. I mean, there's plenty of times he was just sitting back there forever. The defensive line against the rush was great, but, I mean, certain times against the pass rush wasn't really there.
Yeah, so I think Aaron has an interesting post by Bleacher Report today.
I saw this on Instagram, and like I said earlier, people were talking about how great Bo Nix played and all. And like I said, I didn't think he was anything special. He just made a lot better decisions. But their post is of Bo Nix, and it says Auburn freshman QB Bo Nix is generating Cam Newton level buzz. The caption says Bo Nix is as electric as Cam Newton at QB, and he is starting for Auburn as a true freshman. And I will say, I think that is a terrible take. I think
that's blasphemy right there.
Yeah, I mean, I think people forget how incredible Cam Newton was his 1 year at Auburn.
I think they do. We're coming up on nearly 10 years since we've seen Cam Newton on the field, and I know that's a lot of time that's passed, but Cam Newton was a sensational athlete. I think he is probably the best that I've ever seen in the college level for what he accomplished in 1 year.
In one season, I will say, if there was anybody I could just pick for quarterback of all time in one season, it would be 2010 Cam Newton.
Yeah.
I would say Tebow had a better career, but that's only because he had a career and wasn't one season. That's the only reason.
Yeah,
I mean, just to think what Cam did for Auburn. I mean, just to bring them a national championship.
Yeah, which
is incredible.
Hadn't been done in 52 years at that time.
Yeah, since
like
50. Yeah, since 54 or something.
So yeah, it was pretty crazy. I just thought that was how you go from. I just don't know how you get to that take.
There's no reason that post should still be up. No. I mean, that is.
And what was his stats on the day?
He was 12 for 20.
12 for 10,
yards.
20. Yeah, I don't get how that.
And then he rushed for 38 yards on 12.
Yeah, I don't see how that's electric as Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Not coming back and beating Alabama when they were down 21-0. That's just like everybody calm down.
I think everybody does need to calm down, and everybody is acting a little crazy, but they're not acting as crazy as these people I'm about to tell you about in my segment of the day, Mismanagers.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Is that a good segment? You like that?
Oh, I
Yeah,
loved
this one's good. Yeah.
Mostly, my favorite part was listening to Justin trying to justify why there was teeth in the wall.
It was
But
1910,
People
1920.
really liked that.
I sure hope they would. So I'm really interested in what you got for us today.
Yeah.
People seem to really like that that argument between us and trying to figure out just what you were talking about with 50 people producing 1,000 teeth and how it was explainable because it happened in the 1930s. And I still don't know what you're trying to get at, and I'm not going to try to get into that now because we've got all new things.
I was just.
So let's. Yeah.
I was just, go ahead.
Tune in.
You don't even want to try to explain it?
I don't think it's worth trying.
No, it'd take too long.
If you haven't heard that, you definitely need to go check it out on last week's.
Yes, episode 2.
Or you might not want to.
You do.
Just for my sake.
Good. Pretty good content.
I mean, they're probably sitting there thinking, teeth in the wall? What kind of psychos am I listening? I thought I was tuning in to listen to some football.
So I nearly had another teeth story for you.
Oh, man.
Today. I decided to sit on it, though, because I found 3 stories that I thought were better. So we may get more teeth talk next week. We'll see.
Teeth talk.
But
that'll be the name of each segment.
So how would you guys feel? Have you ever flown?
Yeah.
I know you have,
Yes.
Aaron, and you have Justin.
Okay.
So what would you
Yes.
think if you went to board your plane? The
Oh,
plane
no.
was late.
I think I know where you're going.
The plane was late, but you got there late too, and you said, "Hey, the plane hasn't taken off yet, right?" And they say, "No, because the pilot's missing." But don't worry, because a passenger has volunteered to fly it.
Oh my gosh.
I would say that's illegal.
I'm
first of
canceling
all.
my flight. I'm out of there.
Well,
I would call and get a life insurance policy.
well, that's exactly what Michael Bradley did. He decided because the pilot was AWOL, he was going to fly him and all
my
the passengers to Spain.
I'm really glad Michael can just make these decisions.
Okay, so what's the flight? I mean, who are we
All
talking?
right, so
American Airlines here?
it's an EasyJet flight, and it's going from Manchester to Alicante, I believe is how you would say that.
Well, I guess this is making a little more sense now.
Okay, so
I don't know how all these make sense to you in any way, but
Because it's a private jet company. Private jet?
is it
Are
a
we
private
talking
jet?
here?
Did it say private?
no, this is
I
not a
don't know.
private jet.
Yeah, this is not
I mean,
private.
Okay, so how many people are on this flight?
Does it matter?
Yes,
That
What if
does
it's
matter.
just one?
no, it's a lot of people. So
Okay.
I'm just going to read y'all the article as I typically
Even
do.
if it's just one, that man's life doesn't matter.
This comes from
You're gonna let Michael take it over?
this comes from Sky News, which apparently is a website that talks all about plane news, which I found pretty funny. But anyways,
That's pretty cool.
so Michael Bradley, who works for EasyJet, announced to his fellow passengers from the tarmac of Manchester Airport that he had offered to step in and fly them all to Alicante in order to avoid a 2-hour delay.
How many
It was
people got off the
2
flight?
hours?
Yeah, it
That's
was just 2 hours. That's all they had to wait. Michael Bradley, who works for no, I just read that part, sorry. Pointing to his wife and son sitting in row 15 of the plane, the airman said she had learned of the delay before they set off the airport from home and told him with a punch to the back of the head at 3 a.m. So right here it has a Facebook post by one Michelle Hannah Potts that has a photo of the plane being inside the plane where you can see there's a good amount of people in there. Said, "It could only happen to me. Got to the airport and our flight is delayed a couple hours. Then I happened to look at the original time and it changed to gate closing. Had to leg it across the airport to get it on the flight. Get to boarding and ask the guy at the desk what's going on. And he said, 'Oh, your pilot's gone missing, but a guy that's going on your flight is going to fly the plane.' Really casually. Luckily, the guy was actually a pilot. So,
Well, that's good.
so Michael is a pilot, but he was not the scheduled pilot.
Yeah, I thought they have to go through several, they have to be checked for you have to they have to make sure they get 8 hours of sleep, and you have to make sure your blood sugar and all that.
There's language barriers depending on where you're landing, stuff like that.
Like,
but
I thought they had to check all of that before you can even.
well,
go through.
Well,
I have you right here what they had to check to get him to fly the plane.
Okay.
Oh man.
This is what Michael said. He said, "So I phoned up EasyJet and said, 'Hiya, I'm standing in the terminal doing nothing, and I'd very much like to go on holiday. And if you need a favor, I'm standing here ready to go. And they said, we'll phone you back. They did. And then they said, he said, with their official request, this is what they said, please, please, pretty please, with a big cherry on top, could you fly the plane to Alicante?
I don't think they said
This isn't real, is it? Is this real?
This story
I believe
is
it's real, but I don't believe.
I think that he made that part up. But he said
he's
that
trying to be funny.
he said they did call him back in 38 seconds.
38 seconds?
Which also sounds like, was he really watching for 38 seconds? I think this guy's a bit of a lunatic, and he should never be allowed to fly. That's my personal opinion.
But see, I don't know what the rules and regulations are for, this is out of Europe, correct?
Right, yeah.
So I don't know what it is. So I guess they're like, we just got to find somebody.
Well, luckily,
and so they were desperate.
Luckily, he apparently was a real pilot because he got them to their destination safely. But
it must have been a rough flight.
Yeah, you would think so. So for my next story of mismanagers, this woman from Connecticut got 2 DUIs in one day.
Wow.
So we all know someone who has gotten a DUI.
Yeah.
But do you know anyone who has gotten 2 in one day?
No, because the people I know that get DUIs go to jail because they don't have anybody else that's going to pick them up.
So this is an article that comes from Audi.com. And it starts out a little something like this. A woman in Connecticut not only got arrested for drunk driving, but she got arrested twice in the same day. And the 2 arrests were within hours of each other. Ellen Needleman O'Neill, 64 years old,
Wow,
is from Wilton, Connecticut, a city about 55 miles northeast of New York City. She was arrested Saturday afternoon after driving drunk in a parking lot and hitting a parked car. Needleman O'Neill was charged with a DUI and possession of a controlled substance after police said her blood alcohol level registered close to .23, nearly 3 times the legal limit, which I believe is .08. That math checks out. They also found codeine pills in her bag. She was released with a written promise to appear in court at a future hearing.
Written promise.
I imagine with bail, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But a short 8 hours later, Needleman O'Neill was pulled over yet again. This time, her alcohol level came in at .09, so it went down, but still over the legal limit. And while not as high as the first time, she is still more than the legal limit. She was again charged with a DUI while operating a motor vehicle and driving without a license following her second arrest. She was able to post her $230 bond and was then released. Needleman O'Neill is scheduled to appear in court on September 17th. So, after 2 DUIs, getting picked up twice, her bond was still only $230.
Oh, gosh.
yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty funny. But this brings me to my final and biggest surprise of mismanagers. Student says she gave cookies containing grandfather's ashes to classmates.
Why would you ever tell someone that?
So I told Aaron before the show I've got one that's weirder than finding teeth in the wall, and this is that a student, I believe it was like a little girl, gave.
Okay, how old?
I mean, I don't know. If she can bake cookies and put.
I was about to say, she baked the cookies and put the ashes in herself?
It's probably not that little. I don't know. When I read this, I thought of like a second grader.
Second grade?
But I don't think that was the case whatsoever.
You're rethinking that logic now?
A student in Davis, California has claimed that around 2 weeks ago, she and a co-conspirator gave 9 classmates cookies containing her grandfather's ashes. At least some of the students were aware there were ashes in the cookies before they consumed them, police told the Los Angeles Times on Tuesday.
So they were aware and still consumed them?
And they still
At
ate
least
them?
some of them knew.
I wonder how ashes taste.
When I hear this, though, I wonder if she was like, haha, yeah, I put ashes in these cookies. And so then they were aware. They're like, oh, yeah, whatever, Madeline or whatever this girl's name is.
Is that what they...
No, they don't list her name.
Yeah, no, but that's what they account them being aware is.
I don't know. That's just my theory. I don't know.
I mean, that's a valid theory, but I don't know.
Still.
I mean, your second grade theory.
That was worse.
A little bit I mean, well, I don't know. If she told other second graders, they probably don't know what ashes are. I don't know.
Others
Makes-
were
Where's
apparently
this-
unaware
makes more sense
and
that they
were
would eat 'em.
horrified when they found out.
Yeah, I would be too.
So far, it is unclear why the student felt motivated to bring desserts with human remains in them to school. Since the cookies have already been eaten, it is also unclear how we can be sure they contained ashes at all. Although a classmate of the alleged perpetrator did say he didn't believe her until she pulled out the urn.
Oh,
So she had the urn with her.
Was it empty?
okay.
I guess. What a thing to say. In a lettered appearance on Tuesday, the principal of Da Vinci Charter Academy maintained that there is no health risk to our campus or to anyone of our students. We regret that this story has been taken up by the media. So, basically saying, we're sorry that people heard about this. We're sorry we got caught.
Yeah. Golly,
But that
how
brings
does something
me
like this happen?
Yeah, that brings me to my question to you both is how would you react if I was to bake you up some cookies? I said, congratulations on getting so many downloads on the podcast. Here is some cookies. And then I told you, oh, actually, there are human remains in these.
I'd be mortified.
Would you believe me, first of all? And then what would your reaction be when I pulled out
Well,
the
probably
urn?
with some of the stuff you've done before, I probably wouldn't be surprised.
Knowing
You
you,
wouldn't be surprised if I put ashes in cookies and fed them to you? I know that I've done some...
Justin, we really need to talk. So you're trying to justify teeth in a wall. You're saying it makes more sense when a guy just stands up on a flight. He's like, all right, I'll fly the plane. And now you're saying it wouldn't surprise you for someone to put ashes of their dead grandfather in your cookies? I mean, if you know someone that wouldn't surprise you, you should probably distance yourself a little farther.
I would like to know what I've done to you to make you think that I would do
It's all
such
just
a
a joke. Oh my goodness. Don't take it so seriously.
You say some
Gosh.
crazy things on
Don't
this
take
show,
it so
Justin.
serious. What do you think? You think this is a laughing matter, Justin?
Oh man. Well, apparently the school thought
I
it
would
was.
100% think you were joking, but at the same time, if you pulled out the urn, I would get worried. I wouldn't think that you would, but if you pulled that thing out, it would worry me.
Okay, well,
I would have second thoughts.
how about this question?
I wouldn't think it would be your dead grandfather, but
No. It's
I thought
all,
if anything, maybe he put ashes in here trying to play a joke. Like I don't know what I wouldn't think that you would put ashes in it. No, that would not be my
No.
first thought. It would
no.
surprise me. I can tell you that. It would surprise me.
It would surprise me too.
Well, you said it wouldn't surprise you, so
Okay,
Oh my
I'm
God.
just joking around here, so give me
what
a
are
break.
you joking
all right?
about? I don't know, Justin. You're really starting to worry me.
Oh my god! So I made a teeth in the wall shirt on the TeePublic website for us, so now I'm gonna have to make one about Justin not being surprised about ashes in my cookies.
Yeah.
Ashes in my cookies, no big deal. Don't even worry about it.
Well,
Well, let's get into
You're killing me.
let's get into our final segment of the day. This will be the final week we're ranking uniforms in the SEC. Next week, I don't know what we're gonna do. We'll think of
we
something.
need to have a more. I say this every week. We need to have a more planned. We need to bring our favorite alternate of all time, not just these lists.
Yeah.
We'll have to do that at a different time.
So we're going with Brad Crawford's list again. This was from 4 years ago, so it's not up to date. We have a few of our own we're going to inject in here. But
So what
this
is the list?
This is on Saturday Down South, ranking the season's best alternate uniforms in the SEC.
But this was in 2015
Yeah.
season.
Yeah. It was 4 years ago. So, yeah, so ranking the 2015 alternate uniforms. My all-time favorite was debuted last year. I'll get to that at the end of this, but we're just going to run through these and see what we think about them.
Oh, this starts at number 6. So
No, so there's only 6.
So I
Okay.
guess the teams that didn't have any that year are not included. We
okay.
can come up with some of our own. That's fine.
Interesting.
But yeah, we'll just go through this list first, if that's fine. You got it pulled up there, Justin?
This will be easier to
Yeah, I'm
rank.
tr-
We can actually rank all 6. Then.
Trying
Also-
to pull it up.
Also, make sure that you're still recording too, because that would be quite a bummer.
Yes, I've been checking, and I am still
great.
recording.
Great. Yeah, we had a little malfunction earlier. You couldn't even tell it because my editing is so seamless. But we had to. We've missed about 10 minutes of content that we had to go back and redo, but that's okay. It's not like we have anything better to do at 12:44 a.m.
Yeah, really.
Okay, so number 6, we've got South Carolina's tail feather helmet. Now, I'd forgotten about this until I'm sitting here looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
So the black jerseys and uniforms, I'm a fan of. I like that blackout look, and I actually think these helmets kind of work with it. I like it's a white helmet, and it's got the South Carolina red, and it's the just the tail feather, the Gamecock tail feather, but it actually looks pretty good. It looks kind of like a tattoo design.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good look.
Yeah. Well, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as it could be, but it's not as good as it could be. I feel like it works.
Yeah.
How it is.
It's a pretty cool thing to go for. Also, this because most people wouldn't think to do a tail feather, but they actually pull it off pretty well.
No. Yeah.
So number 5, we have Florida's two-sided helmet.
Ooh, these are nice.
So yeah, I think so too. So you have Gators spelled out on one side, and then the Florida F on the other side.
I think these look really good.
There's not
These,
for an alternate.
I like them.
it's not it's not a full uniform.
Yeah, it's just helmet.
You've got the orange jersey, and then you've got the white pants, which I like those
I
colors
think the pants
together.
are a little different.
They may be. And then you have the white helmet, and it's got a the stripe starts out as orange on the front and transitions to blue by the time you get to the back. And it's got Gators on one side, the F on the other. I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty clean, but
I do too.
I was expecting more for a alternate uniform.
Yeah, I think this list is just helmets.
Is it just helmets?
Well, Tennessee has their
we're
gray
having some,
uniforms.
Technical difficulties.
Okay. Now we got some. So we got Tennessee smoky gray.
I might have to exit out of it and pull it back up.
I think we got it going now. So we got Tennessee smoky gray uniforms. For those who can recall, it was just a real nice shade of gray.
It is
complemented by. It's a lot like their away jerseys, but replace the white with gray. Is how I'd explain it.
Yeah, it's real clean. Like we said, it's not so much of that terrible orange. It's it's pretty clean.
Yeah, it's minimalist, and it kind of adds to it instead of overtakes you with that orange.
I really like those.
Yeah, I do too. Number 3, we got LSU's white helmets.
This is something they still do. They've done this for the past 2 weeks of this season, and it looks sharp.
Yes, so you got the purple jerseys, which I adore.
Love them, yeah.
You got the white pants with a purple stripe going down the sides, and you have the white helmet.
I love
and this is my favorite helmet, and making it white, I love it even more.
Moving on, we have Texas A&M's Aggie Knights uniforms.
Ooh.
I forgot all about these,
I
but
sure have.
they were good.
I'm a big fan.
So these were blacked out, basically totally blacked out. Like the only white you see is the SEC logo and the numbers on the jerseys.
Yeah, it's a dark
and the
gray
Texas A&M
on top of the black. I really like that.
Yeah, so you got dark gray stripes on the shoulder pads and pants. The helmet is my favorite part of it. You have a black helmet, and then the logo is just a slightly
real dark.
You can barely see it.
Gray.
Yeah,
you have to look to see it, and it just looks really good.
Mm-hmm. Looks very good.
Number 1, Vanderbilt's Deepwater uniforms. Disagree.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't know how this is number 1.
I really like the helmets.
The helmet looks good. It's black. It's got the silver anchor. It's real shiny, real sleek.
And I like the anchor down on the pants, but everything else is a little.
Yeah, it's written out in text, anchor down on the pants, and then it's just kind of gray. It's a gray jersey.
Yeah, that's really it.
I think Vandy's uniforms they wore today against LSU at home was much nicer than these.
Yeah, I agree.
So they wore all gray today with a little bit lighter helmet, and it was pretty sharp.
Thinking back on some of the other alternate jerseys we've seen in the past, of course we saw Georgia do the blackout. That didn't work out very well in 2008 when they played Alabama.
No.
I think it looked better for them. It doesn't work for them.
We saw Alabama do the houndstooth numbers on the jerseys.
I like that,
which is very subtle, but
yeah, I like the subtlety. So you're still keeping the classic, but trying to do something with it.
Yeah, just houndstooth on the collar and numbers. And then we have my favorite from this past year, which is my favorite uniform combo of all time, and it is
I will agree.
The 1914 throwbacks for LSU.
Those are where the helmets change color in the light. It was
the helmet, depending on how you're looking at it and what the lighting is either purple or gold.
Oh, here I've got it. Yeah, I've got it pulled up right here. Was it the white uniforms?
Yes, and
it
they
sounds
what kind of
like
the purple?
It would be too much, kind of like how Oregon can sometimes do like too much, but it was perfect. It was the best alternate uniform, I think, that I've ever seen anybody wear and pull off in college.
Yeah,
I agree.
No, it's beautiful. If you don't know what we're talking about, I urge you to look it up because it really is my favorite uniform of all time. We've done a lot of uniform talk these past 3 weeks, though, and to people listening to this, it probably sounds the exact same on everything. So next week, let's mix it up a little bit. Let's think of something creative. We won't say anything right now, and we'll do something else we talk about with every team in the SEC. Mm-hmm. But for now, I think that's the show, unless you guys have anything to add.
That's what they call show business. No one else will get that, but me and you. That was an inside joke.
Yeah.
You know? Justin said he would love to be a part of one someday.
I would love to be a part of one.
That was a Michael Scott quote, which was also an inside joke. So,
if anyone has an inside joke you'd like to share with Justin, please reach out to him
share
at
with me.
TGM Pod on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. You can also find us on Patreon. We will have exclusive content coming up there soon for patrons. Let me see. I got my little list here that tells me everything I need to say. So let me just go ahead and pull that up.
Yep, we often forget stuff, and after the show, we're like...
We go all over the place, yeah.
Should have done
that. Here's the first thing I tell myself to say. Thanks for listening. That's probably...
Yeah, that's
probably a good thing to say, because there's no reason for you to be listening to us.
Not at all.
But some people are, and we want to say thank you for that. Like I said, find us on social media. You can also message us in at gamemanagerspod@gmail.com. Wherever you listen, whether that be on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Stitcher or what have you, or YouTube, subscribe for more content. Let us so we can alert you when we post new videos, new episodes every Sunday. And leave a nice review if you like the show. And if you hate it, you can leave a rude one.
Yeah, leave a bad review too. Yeah. Let us know.
You can also find... Go ahead.
Sorry, once again. Send in your questions. If you got any questions, let us know.
If there's anything you want us to talk about.
Yes, please send anything in,
at all.
Topics.
Do you have any teeth talk?
Do you have teeth talk? You know, we may have gotten questions. I haven't checked the email since I made it.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Next.
Sorry for the ones who may have sent questions
check them. Out. I'm glad that you...
Next week, I will check it.
Everybody's just so let down right now. If they sent in anything, they'll never send anything in ever again. So
please send stuff in. Please, we would really appreciate it.
I will make sure that I get this email as well and check it.
I'll give it to all three of us so we can all keep
please
keep tabs on it, because I have not checked it since I created it.
Nick will no longer let you down.
I promise. That's a promise. Also, we have shirts at TeePublic if you want to get a shirt talking about
anything to do with the podcast, really. Like we said earlier,
teeth.
We made teeth shirts. So
literally.
Alabama, Auburn, SEC, teeth. Ash cupcakes.
If you want people to know that the dentist does hide your teeth, we have a shirt for you, and it's very
Spread
ugly.
Awareness.
I absolutely hate it, but my mom loves it, and she's already bought one.
Really?
Yes, she thought it was hilarious. I said that is the ugliest shirt I've ever seen.
I thought it was very
in my
funny.
life. Yeah, but we have some good looking ones on there too. So check those out. And also, we are doing some ticket giveaways for Alabama and Auburn games. So check those out on the Facebook page. We just gave away Alabama football tickets to this game against Southern Miss this weekend to our good friend Taylor. So be sure to go on there, and it will show you how to join the contest. Just like, comment, subscribe, and tag 2 people, and you'll be in the free drawing. So we've got an Alabama game up there now for senior night, and then we're going to have Auburn tickets up there soon, giving away those as well. So be sure to check that out.
And shout out to Taylor, who won the last giveaway.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, I hope they had a good time. Luckily, they were Alabama fans, not Southern Miss fans. So they got to see Tua stand out. So, but be sure to check that out, and we will see you next week. Said that with a question like I didn't know. We will see you next week.
Adios.
You'll have a great week.